can start recording now. We're calling it to order at 7:10. Thank you.
Do we have the second that or anything?
Previous minutes, do we have
What you need to do is remind everyone,
that?
This meeting
is being recorded. I don't remember the rest of it.
and that we are to be mindful of that in all that we do. It's the simplest way of saying it.
And any old business? Actually, back to previous minutes.
The previous minutes, there are none because the meeting was canceled, due to the hearing the same week on the accessory rural enterprise regulations.
Old business?
Under old business, goals update, if we established that, I believe, but I didn't do anything with it.
I have nothing.
Is old business what we were talking about in the last meeting? Is that what old business is supposed to mean?
Part of it, things that were discussed in previous, even
Any
other
previous-
meetings.
Okay.
So under goals
Were we talking about field day last time?
also,
Yeah, that never came
The-
to anything.
with
The
the-
school was too busy at the
at
end
the
of the
school,
year.
yeah.
We usually like to do that, in the month of June, since they have so many extra days. In June, it just never
Right.
actually happened.
Mary stated school too busy.
But, obviously we can try again next year. There's a new secretary at the Hubbardson Center School. So we'll probably have to reintroduce ourselves, but that's not a big deal.
Okay. I think I gave you some stuff to do on the brochure, Mary.
You did?
Do you have anything for us this meeting?
No.
Okay.
Because no, I don't, I'm sorry. I thought that I could have my daughter help me, and she had a busier summer than we thought, so.
Okay.
It's still on her to-do list. I'll get her going on that.
Let's skip the zoning bylaw and go to a potential workshop and then spend
Yeah.
more of our time on the bylaw
Right,
instead of having that train us.
yes, so under new business, we're going to, field day is also, September 14th.
Yes.
So, we had mentioned at one point of, maybe doing something there.
Yeah.
What is I think it's the
We're not
14th.
gonna be around.
You're not around?
I usually set up, Be Nice Farm, but, if we put Ag Tent next to us, next to me, I could, cause at one point we were talking about even like a board with questions and like an interactive question answer kind of thing for kids
yeah.
to do. I can certainly help get that going. We have a lot of not old pieces, but unused pieces of wood at my house that we could build something, or even just make it out of
So,
heavy stock paper or something.
yes, so you just use a real heavy-duty
Yeah.
poster board,
Yes.
styrofoam
Yeah.
poster board, and then you just take craft heavy-duty
Yeah,
printer, holiday printer paper, color.
yeah, yeah,
You fold it in half,
yeah,
questions on the top,
answer in this, yeah,
and then you lift it up for the answer.
yeah, and then give out a little something. Or not, like a sticker or something.
Do you want?
I have stickers that say protect the pollinators, like I have weird kinda, like that kinda stuff.
Alright, so you'll do, do you need help with questions?
Yeah, but I can Google some and then I
So
can
you
email you some.
Yeah, email us as a group
Yes,
for us
yeah.
to give suggestions.
Yeah,
I don't remember if I saved what we did many moons ago.
Yeah.
When I did it one time. So just a table
yeah,
with poster board stating Hub Ag Commission wants to know how much we know about agriculture,
Yeah,
what's
about farming.
we know about farming. Wants to know how much you know about farming.
Be cool if, instead of it just being kind of random, if the questions like correlated to your own farms, like yours being more about like organic produce and alpacas
Oh.
and bees.
Yeah, there
Sure.
could be a subject.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, we could relate the
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good idea. Subjects relating to all hub farms.
Yeah.
You know, horses, blanket washing.
right. Well,
I don't-
yeah,
I
but,
don't technically have a farm yet.
but
I
you,
mean, I have my farm.
yeah,
Yes, you do.
yeah, you're fine.
I'll give writing lessons a couple times a year and
There you go.
that'll count.
Yeah.
So that would be a great way to start.
Yeah,
Do you have one of those like art display things to?
oh, yeah, like
to
an
stick
easel?
it- An easel?
Yeah,
Art
yeah.
easel, we can stick it to.
Mhm.
Alright. So we can each submit
Yeah,
ideas to you.
yeah,
I think I had like a dozen before.
yeah, yeah,
On the lower level, it was more visual for the preschoolers.
Right, yeah.
And then up as you got
Yeah,
higher,
right,
it was
the
more
questions
for
get harder. Yeah,
the questions got harder from
yeah,
everybody.
but
How about let's see.
I know it,
the
the,
14th.
I went to, Wachusett, whatever, in Princeton one year, I was a vendor there, and they had a board, and they were giving away the little mini pumpkins, just because somebody had grown them and there were a million of them. So let me see if I can get some of those.
I don't know if Alto's raised pumpkins
Yeah.
this year,
Okay, that
but
was
the
who I
mini
was thinking.
pumpkins would be a wonderful gift.
Yeah.
For children
Yeah.
only, one per child.
Yeah,
We'll have to make a little sign
yeah,
that says so.
yeah, or like somebody could stand there, yeah.
Yeah. Reward for children.
And like I said, I
Doing
also
it.
have stickers that, say, protect the pollinators, something like that. And then, I can always just make up stickers that.
I have Central Mass grown stickers,
Yeah,
but I
there you
don't
go.
know if they'll stick anymore. I have to check that.
Okay, yeah.
Let me see if they're still.
Right, right.
I've had them for probably 6 years, so
Yeah.
yes, they're in a roll top desk, but
Right.
I don't know if they'll stick
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
But Central Mass grown would certainly qualify
Yeah, oh,
as
yeah.
a good sticker with, it's got a
Yep,
apple shape on it. Well, I think that would be a nice way to just remind folks.
yeah,
Maybe also somehow list who we are.
yeah,
Check the website for other information.
Yep. Yep.
So, questions, rewards.
Is that where you would wanna have a brochure to give people who would be interested in each farm, or is it just a sign saying you can reach us at this website?
Yeah, and,
well, I don't know if Emma could have the
Yeah,
brochure done,
in
but,
time, in 2 weeks,
yeah.
that's okay. So
Um,
we can do AgCom list
yeah,
of current members,
yeah. And then
and then
our information
see
that's
info on the website,
Right.
town website. And we'll just keep it simple
Yeah.
for this year. Okay.
Yeah, so if, like, anybody had a free few hours, you could come down and, like, sit at that table or whatever you wanted. We could also, we had that, more colorful thing that I was gonna pull information out of to make a brochure. Do we want our goal and our mission and that kind of stuff? I could do, like, that kind of thing, a mission statement or,
Our mission statement is still on the website.
Yeah.
And that doesn't change, so
Okay.
if you wanted
to
put
just print that out, yeah.
print that out, put it in a,
Yeah,
you know, to do some of that in the
Yeah.
corners
Yeah.
with maybe the flip cards in the middle,
Yeah.
something like that, I don't know,
okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
I'm
I'll see, yeah, I'll see how much time I
Are you,
have.
yeah, and it can, we don't have to do anything more than the questions and
Right,
stuff.
right.
If you need help, reach out
Yeah,
to us,
okay.
okay?
Yep, that'll be fun, yeah, I can do that. Excellent.
What else is going? I will be there for a little while on that day,
Okay,
in the morning. Wearing
so we'll
my-
be on the farm side, not on the crafter side.
What, wherever you wanna be.
Yeah. You guys aren't coming?
At Mount Wachusett
Ah.
for the weekend. Cloning still hasn't worked.
What time is it from?
I think it's like
9 to
9 to 2 or 9 to 3.
I might be able to be there for a couple hours in the morning, but I already promised my friend I'd help her move.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll be there and, wearing my other hat
right,
for the one-day food vendors.
yep.
Okay, well, this would be great, it's
Yeah.
exposure,
Yeah,
it's exposure to the town folk,
yeah,
yeah. Trying to think, if I think of any other ag stuff that I have at home, stuffed somewheres, I'll get back to all,
Okay.
I'll email everybody,
okay,
so that we're all aware of it, kind of thing. And we should do that for each other.
Yeah.
Like, I'm submitting, I suggest this questions.
yes, yeah,
Just,
definitely, yeah,
We'll just do it that way.
yeah.
I'd love to pitch in for getting it set up and all that,
Okay, great,
decorating
thank
or
you. Yeah,
whatever.
Sometimes it's the most important help.
yeah,
Mary?
yeah, yeah, no, that'll work, yeah.
Getting it all, yeah. I mean, I don't know, can you be there like an hour ahead of time to set up? Do they have tents? I don't know.
Oh, they
What
do,
time do
yeah.
you-
So as a vendor, you can come, I think as early as 7:30 to set up.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Whatever time.
Yeah.
You two communicate as to
Yes,
when you're gonna
yeah,
get
we can do
there.
that. Yeah.
Whenever you get there.
The
Even
hours
if
are
it's-
9 to 3.
Okay, 9 to 3. So, I do have 2 tents, so we can set up a separate tent for the ag people. And like I said, if we just put it next to me, if there happens to be nobody there in the afternoon, I can, you know, because I'll actually have a helper with me, so I can have her run my booth and run that, you know, it will be fine. So, I'm gonna write down. Yeah.
I can probably contribute 2 hay bales.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah, just to decorate it, yeah, definitely.
I'd loan you a couple little pockets, but
Yeah, I think you need to be there, or
And
one of
corns
your girls needs to be there.
Sweet corn stalks.
Yeah, that kind of stuff, that would
Is
be
that,
great.
is that okay?
Yeah,
Kind of thing?
thank
That'd
you.
look great, yeah.
Stalks, bundles.
So I assume they give you a couple of chairs, a table and a tent, is that
No, no,
You
you had to
bring
bring
everything.
everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's what I
yes,
said,
so-
I have 2 tents, I have a few tables that I can bring. I don't usually sit down when I do mine, and I think all of our lawn chairs were sort of trashed when we cleaned the basement, so I don't have any chairs, but if you had chairs, you could bring them.
Okay.
Yeah, but I have a tent.
That's great.
Sounds good. horse mannequin, a life-size horse mannequin, but he'd be hard to move. I literally got him with my horse trailer up in Vermont, so I mean,
Oh,
I could
wow.
bring him, actually,
Oh.
that'd be kind of fun.
I have a little John Deere plastic kids tractor with
Oh, that's fun.
I will,
Okay.
we can put that somewhere.
Yeah.
Me, okay. The kids plastic John Deere tractor and wagon.
I think the only trouble with that is that I would assume you have to clean up everything by the end of the day, so like
Yes.
by 3:30, everything has to be cleaned out, yeah, that might be a
Yes.
little tough.
Yeah.
If they could give me until like 6 PM to come get the.
Oh, to get the horse?
Then I could
Yeah.
do that, but-
Well, we,
You know, the kids plastic John Deere tractor, we can stick
Yeah.
it on the corner of a hay bale.
Yeah,
Whatever,
yeah.
just display.
Yeah,
Alright, we got a few things going, that sounds great.
good.
I'll try to think of easier to bring decorations.
Yeah. That would, yeah, so,
Not
Somebody-
tons, we don't need
No,
tons,
no, no, we
but
don't.
just a couple things.
yeah, and, like, I know somebody that has a bunch of old, like, apple crates, maybe she'll let us borrow those, just to, like, look cool and old farmy-ish. You know what I mean, just as
You want-
decoration.
So don't bother somebody, you want
You have it,
wooden
yeah,
apple baskets?
yeah, why not?
Wooden baskets.
Okay.
This is the best time of year for that too, because
Yeah.
people start thinking apple picking, pumpkin
Yeah,
patches,
yeah.
like, it's the best time of year to have that stuff out and people get all excited about it.
Yeah, if we can make our tent look nice and fallish. and-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and have that little thing and have our information available.
I think that's when agriculture becomes the most fun for the average everyday
Yeah.
person, is
It's-
fall
It's in the
time.
fall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not winter or spring, that's for sure.
No.
No, it's not.
even though it should be spring. right?
Yeah, it should be spring, but if it's raining or muddy or in
Right.
between cold, yeah, but I think that's the best time for
Yeah.
agriculture to take off for the year.
Alright, when we
Are
wanna.
there any nonsuch apple trees in the town at all? Or
Yes.
Are there?
Mhm.
Where?
I think there's
Someone's
secrets.
property.
There's secret locations.
Oh.
They're on people's property.
Okay. I don't need to know, like, if it's a secret, but that's cool, that's good to know.
I don't know if it's.
I had-
I don't know if it's a secret, but still,
I
that's
just
cool,
said
that's
that.
good
I
to
don't
know. I mean,
I had a couple wild ones on my farm, which is the original site for where they started.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's cool.
By a farmer whose last name was Parker in the 1880s.
Wow.
And they were at the edge of the hayfield. It was long, narrow, and the one year it just didn't make it to the next year. I should have figured out how to graft from it, but
yeah, I was gonna say,
I'm not a great tree grafter, so
Yeah.
didn't
be
work
out of my
out.
element, but that would be really cool if we could kinda get more of them somehow, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
every house should have a tree, no, I don't know.
Do we wanna discuss a workshop about raising and caring for chickens or table it to another meeting?
That would be a fun thing to do.
That might be a good one for late winter,
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
getting
So-
into the spring.
Yeah, yeah.
so workshop,
Yeah, I think springtime's best anyways, cause then by the time they're old enough to produce, you're going into the winter, and then you have a good abundance of eggs going through the
Mhm.
winter.
so we'll, plan to do it over the winter months, is that
Sure.
correct? Don't
My
wanna do-
top advice is don't go to Tractor Supply for anything you need for chickens. Their little chicken huts they make are toothpick material, it's terrible.
I mean,
$300 for something that like 2 chickens could live in, that
Oh.
falls apart when you breathe on it. That's my top advice.
I'm sorry.
Build it yourself if you can. It's definitely more sturdy.
Yeah. I've seen some, briefly, not to get into the whole subject, people who have small chicken coops. The state law is chicken needs 1 square foot per chicken.
Mm.
And
Really,
some-
that's all?
But some of these coops are so small that they're not getting that.
Yeah.
A lot of the coops will say they're good for so many chickens, and they're tiny.
Yes, and it's not right.
No.
So that's neat. That's just one of those things that,
The first chicken coop I ever bought said it was good for 12 or more chickens, and I put it together, bought it online. I put it together, I'm like, this is enough for like 6.
uh-huh.
And then I expanded the run, because the run's tiny.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
so,
need to-
so those kinds of
Yeah.
discussions are things
Yeah.
that we would address.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's great to have it, around winter.
Right,
A
cause then
lot of folks
everybody will
have-
order their chickens in the spring, right? Isn't that when people start to
Yeah.
order?
Yeah.
Late winter, early spring, yeah.
Yeah, and they come in like whenever,
Yeah.
April, right?
Yeah, most places have different dates for it.
Right,
Mm.
right.
Unless you have them directly shipped to your farm,
Yeah,
like
unless
I
you're getting
do.
enough.
Right.
Yeah. I just think, we do have a lot of folks in town now that have chickens. and
Yes,
so I
yeah.
think it would be a great little program
Yeah,
for children and
Yeah.
adults.
that would be fun. Where could we hold it?
Maybe here in the senior center, maybe the
Oh, okay.
library,
Yeah,
you know.
maybe the school would let us use the building.
Sure. in the
Depending on,
evening.
yeah, how many people are
Depends on
interested.
the evening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
depends on, yeah. We have 3 people show up,
Right.
or,
Right.
or if we get 30 people to sign up.
Right.
Yeah. Okay,
Cool.
I just think that's a
Yeah.
beneficial
Yeah.
program for
Yeah,
us to have in the
definitely,
future.
yeah.
Alright, now we're gonna go back to, right,
Yeah.
the hub accessory rural bylaw. Do you wanna just give us a little update what had happened in between
Sure.
January and May of
Uh,
This year.
For a long time, this has been worked on by, I think, members of the planning board. If I'm correct, I think it was the planning board that, to have some guidelines for what businesses could be in town and what,
and
guidelines, yeah, for farm agritourism, type businesses, and what guidelines they need to follow, permitting process for businesses or not, what was available by right, what would need special permit or more. There were about a year of meetings Kathy and I were involved in, and it seemed as though we had gotten to a point with it that it was going to go to town council, I think, and
for
outside
legal
source for
draft, yeah.
a quick run through, and then what came back seemed to have been completely different than what we last saw. So a couple different people, selectmen, et cetera, have asked that maybe we take a look at what the sticking points were from an ag perspective. It's probably nothing we can complete tonight because it's a little thick, but it's maybe something we can jump into and see what sticks out in particular.
So the planning board had an open review meeting beginning of May. And it originally included an overlay zoning for the whole town. And then that review was back in February or early March. And Keith and I both went to that public review. And then the next one came up first week of May, I wanna say, because they wanted to get it on the warrant for this year's town meeting. And what you see in front of you is the regulations for call, agricultural accessory bylaw, agritourism. And what was presented on the first public meeting was not what we got here. This was back towards the original documents that we looked at and developed as a committee, a special committee that existed for about a year. So, we don't necessarily have to decide anything tonight, but, there, as of right now, agritourism of any kind in town is not, quote, legal. And so, some of the, one of the things, if you go through and read this, is, that, no matter what kind of, under, section 25.4, which is the third page, one of the things is that, every activity, big or small, needs a permit. And I said, well, what if you planned with the school district to have a bus a class or two of kids come over and just do a farm tour?
Right.
Do I need a permit for that? That didn't seem fair.
It's a right to farm community though, so how does that?
That's not a right to farm bylaw to let you do that. So this is one section, 25.4, that I think we have to deal with. Just so you know, to maybe highlight that on your circlet and look over that. You brought up wording for something else.
It was, well, actually, I'm going back to page 2, and definition of farm,
Right.
A. Not quite understanding that sentence or paragraph.
Page 2. Definitions.
Definition of farm, I mean, it's farming, it's not rocket science,
Right.
and
Well, for some people it is.
it, not for the farmers. So, and again, I mean, I understand that we need definitions and we need to put things in pretty boxes, but it just the definition of farm on there, I don't exactly understand.
The way they wrote it.
And, maybe there's a typo or something in there, I don't know. But again, going back to the Permit and Procedure Authority, basically, when we originally discussed this, we were talking about if you had people come to your farm, that was by right, you could have people come to your farm. If you did tours on your farm, you had the right to do that. If you were going to, I guess if you were going to, let's say, have wine tastings or things of that, then yeah, maybe you need to
Yeah, so
discuss that with,
sorry to interrupt. So having people on your property, that's not even income based, right? That's just allowing people to come to your property to view your farm.
and it may be to produce income or not. But the point at which we just started discussing a permit or not was if you had an event, let's say, or a gathering of 350 people or more. And if you did that more than 4 times a year, then
yeah.
you would need to get a permit.
Correct.
Is
And
that
then-
350 at one time?
So that's a whole nother sticking point.
Okay.
So that's, these
Um,
are things you need to go home and read and
Take a look
think
at,
about.
yeah.
Mm.
And then when we have our next meeting, bring your notes,
'Cause that
and
was-
we need to pull out, which I didn't do, all my notes from the original committee meetings
Yeah.
of the by right, cause some things by right as a farm, you're allowed to do, no
Mhm.
matter what.
Yeah.
And that's not so clear in this final document
Mhm.
anymore.
Right, so.
And
what-
that was a sticking point that we both felt strongly about.
Mm.
And then the last thing is, nowheres, and Mr. Robinson,
Yeah, I'm not sure of the name yet.
I think that's his name, he brought up, there's no upper limit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the town doesn't want events larger than 5,000 or
Oh, right,
10,000
gotcha.
or whatever. There were no upper limits put into this at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, once you got your permit and you arranged for police and all this other stuff, it could be huge, like
Right,
the events, the Mutter events that they have at
right,
Stone Cow.
right. And that's what they're.
And we don't see, as people who've lived here for a while, any locations that would necessarily be appropriate for something that huge.
Right.
Mhm.
So,
Which again, that's where it comes into a permitting process.
right, and in
whether a
that
site
permitting
plan-
process, there's no definition as to what the limits are in the
Mhm.
permitting process.
So as it stands, if you have 350 people or more, you need police presence, right?
No.
Is that-
No,
Not
there-
necessarily.
nothing's been approved, nothing's been changed,
Right.
this is the draft.
This was the
Okay.
draft.
This is something that we want to edit and then hopefully, bring back maybe to the planning board and then the select board and then for a warrant on next year's town meeting. That would be the steps of progress.
And again, the way it was discussed, there was an escalation, and when you got to, it was basically 350 people more at the event in some period of time, whether it was over the course of a day or whether it was over,
Weekend, no.
that got unexplained.
Mm.
It was explained and then it wasn't. And then what came back was, if, let's say you had a business, a farm, and let's say you had an event, and let's say more than X number of people came, you were in violation.
Mm-hmm.
And.
Then expected.
Right.
Right.
Say you
Yeah.
thought it was gonna be 100
Oh, right.
Right.
and
And
375 or 351 came.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So it ended up not being what we originally thought we.
Yeah, and you don't wanna limit it either, you know, you don't wanna say, oh, sell 100 tickets so that you're under that amount, because if you would want more people to come.
Right.
So that makes sense, so it needs to be really clear.
If it's an open to the public event.
So there's two parts, rewriting this and then recommendations for the permitting process, which they did not have in place when this came out for public review before, in order to go on the warrant. There was too many unanswered questions.
Mm.
So
And then-
our homework is to start working on this. Make yourself comments on, wherever you can, and other things you can think of. And our homework is to pull out the original meeting minutes, and notes that we have, which I didn't do for tonight. We'll bring in some of the things that are listed by right under state law,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can start to mesh together a better regulation for the town. Since we are an agricultural town,
Mhm.
we should be supporting
Mm.
some sort of mechanism to encourage other people to want to get into farming,
Mhm.
using agritourism to help the farm be profitable.
Mm-hmm.
'cause there's only a few places that you could have, huge acreage, farmland, pieces and
Right.
lots. When nearly almost 70% of the town land is quote DCR state lands.
Yeah.
We're not like some other towns that might have a lot less of that and therefore have bigger tracts of land.
Mm-hmm.
So,
There's very few current parcels that would potentially,
qualify for a
qualify for
huge event.
anything.
Right.
Part of what I think originally why this came up, there was a parcel that was considering being a farm, but also a wedding venue.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay, I remember.
And that's when it gets into the whole definition of what's a farm and not a farm,
So,
which,
Right.
so and Keith and I think are on the same page in thinking that we do want something for our town.
Mm.
We do want it under the ag bylaws. And it's been encouraged that we work on this. So, this is our
But we-
homework over the next.
But we want it right for what the plan, the vision is.
not to be restrictive.
Yeah,
Right,
what
not
will
to-
work for 10 years from now,
Yeah.
Okay.
not just 10 to 15 years from now.
Cause if you were to just okay this, it would be constricting.
And
And it's-
it would mean, if you were to be open, you would probably need to get a permit.
Mm-hmm.
And it did not define whether you needed a permit on a daily basis,
Right.
or,
So there's two steps.
And permits cost.
and there was
Right.
no discussion of permit cost.
Mm.
Let's say, for example, you're having an event that you put X number of dollars into, and then you want to throw in permit cost,
Right.
and then, if come back police detail thing. When you're dealing with an outdoor event, you're dealing with weather,
Mm-hmm.
and it becomes a risky proposition. So if you're going to add cost after cost onto,
Right.
Something that may have a lot of people or might have 10.
Right.
Yeah. So that's our big assignment this
Okay.
fall.
Awesome.
So I think that's a good summary for tonight,
yeah,
where we need to go back and think about these things. If we have some of those things on emails, I'll have to pull them up.
yeah.
This is a very busy time for me
Mhm.
to try and do that.
It's busy for me too.
For the, later fall and
Mhm.
stuff. But we can work on it a little bit each meeting
Yeah.
and
Just so I fully understand, what this is in front of me is what was given back to you guys after?
what was presented at an open review by the planning board
Okay.
that they were going to put on the warrant in a couple days after the public review, this meeting that was first, second, third, somewheres in there,
Yeah.
of May.
Okay.
This is the document that they had presented, and
Okay.
from that, as attendees, amongst some other people attending as well, we found too many unanswered things that just should be better defined to
Mm,
start
yeah.
with.
Okay.
No
I just
upper
wanna make sure I have
limit.
that straight, yeah.
This is what the planning board brought to the May public review
Okay.
as a potential document to put on the warrant. This
Got
is
it.
the last thing that they had
Okay.
presented. So we're gonna go from this, which is written up as it should be in all the parts.
But the wording needs to be more clear.
Definitions, details, it's
Yeah.
all in the details.
Yeah.
That's what we have to work on, the
Okay.
details.
And what-
Going through this real quickly, I don't know if this is what came up at that last meeting.
Really?
This-
I asked her to print
This,
it.
in going through this real quickly, this looks like what we thought we were going to be looking at.
This is the
Allowable,
one,
non-exempt agricultural uses for larger lots, corn mazes, concerts, festivals, et cetera, et cetera.
There's no date on
allowable uses by right requiring 5 acres or more, subject to the following. It,
So Trish told me as, the, administrative assistant for the planning committee, she said this was what went into
The
their
most.
minutes from that meeting.
okay.
So she pulled that up and printed that. So
Without reading word by word, this
I know, it
looks
does.
a little bit more like what we thought we were.
So, so this was supposedly what was attached to the minutes from that meeting, which should be, on the website for the planning board.
Okay.
So we can compare that.
Cross-reference.
Yeah,
Cross-reference. Okay?
yeah.
That's what
I think we'll shoot an email back and forth and just go ahead or
Yeah, and what
hold
is,
off, we need a different version.
what would be the preferable date that it's kind of said and done how we want it?
So again, by sometime in January, we should be presenting this back to the planning board
Okay.
so that they can review it and again, hold their public
action or not.
hearings
Mm-hmm.
after reviewing it. I think it's beneficial as a farmer to have something
Mm.
for agritourism, because under the current bylaws and things, it's not allowed.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do need to do something,
Mm-hmm.
but we're here to try and get it right as we can, for thinking about farming today, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and 15 years from now. What's farming gonna look like in 15 years? So, that was the
Blow up
original.
cows.
Anyhow, that's.
Getting the rights to your airspace above your farm?
Yeah, drones,
Oh,
drone airspace.
that, and then sprays, and then, you know, like the mosquito, triple E things going around right now, they're talking about spraying.
Well, I'm an organic farmer.
I know, which could
And-
be a problem.
No, it's not.
It's not?
They send me a form that I fill out every year and send back to them saying, please do not spray by my farm at
Mm.
143 Williamsville Road because I'm an organic farm, and they have it on record.
What
So-
about overspray though? Like, what if they're on, like, say,
They can't spray,
nearby,
they can't spray.
within,
They can't
How
spray
many-
from the driveway on the left, all the way down to the hill, down the hill to the driveway after me.
yeah, I'm just wondering if the spray, like, if you have to be so many, say, feet from your property, that overspray doesn't ever affect you. That's just what I'm
So,
wondering.
a few years ago, I had to put up my own sign, don't spray by this farm.
Hmm.
It's not done by air, it's done by truck.
Oh,
Oh, they like pump it off the truck and, interesting.
Yep,
I pictured like crop testing.
right.
not here,
That's good.
it's
I'm
truck.
sure that helps with overspray if they work.
A lot.
Huh. Well, when you're saying.
In the past, it was going to be truck spraying for our town.
Yeah,
I'm basing that, my current answer based on previous
Right.
experience.
right,
Maybe almost 9 years ago.
yeah. Well,
But
yeah, when
every
you're-
year,
when
I
you're saying,
fill
like,
out
the
a
future.
form, they send it to me.
That's good. I
I
didn't
send
know
it,
that
I have to
either.
get it back in by June something,
Yeah,
that this is my farm, yes, this is the layout of my farm, yes, please keep me on the no spray list.
wow. That's good, I didn't know they had that.
Yep, state does that,
Good.
yep. And if you wanna get added to that, I'll dig out the emails and make sure you get added to it next year.
Very cool. Learn something new every day.
Yeah. Is there anything else?
Unexpected business,
Anything else?
you had mentioned, riding lessons.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason I bring that back up, I just got an email today from Mass Farm Bureau. There is a, law change, rule change that they're looking at.
For being a certified riding instructor?
And
Yeah.
what you currently have to go through. So there is a, take action, email as far as that goes.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, cause I think as it is right now, you don't have to be licensed so long as your students are aware that you're not certified as a riding instructor. They're probably aiming to change that, which,
What is saying, need you to use your voice, help eliminate an outdated regulation, equine industry that hinders business. Currently, Massachusetts only state that subjects riding instructors to go through an inconvenient licensing process. Only 2 exams offered annually in different parts of the state. Making it difficult for many stables to license their staff. Bill would remove the requirements that is an impediment to business. Looks to change this, eliminate outdated regulation.
yeah, I mean, I'm
That's-
kinda on the
that's-
fence with that. I think
Um,
it's good that we kinda have a standard, but there's a lot of knowledge that you can gain without having a certification, so I don't really know where I fall on that, to be honest.
We have a girl who works for us who is working towards certification, I guess, and number of hours,
Yeah,
first test,
yeah,
there's
it's a
more than
written
one
test
test and so on.
Yep,
So yeah, again, I just happened to get that email today, so it's just kinda
interesting, yeah. I thought about going for it when I was like 18 and I just wasn't what I wanted to do at the time, but yeah, I mean, as far as I know, you can teach without a license so long as your students are aware that you're not licensed. But I don't know if that counts for more than just a few students or not, but yeah. Sounds like they're trying to make it more accessible.
The other thing about lists, totally different than, mosquito spraying, but if you are a farm, Mass Electric does offer a discounted rate on your electric. There is a form to fill out and so on. That gives you a discount. And same thing, annually you get a renewal notice, are you still a farm, are you still a farm, are you still a farm? I don't remember what I had to do in order to be on the list in the first place. You know, whether it was a tax form or something, I have no idea, I don't remember.
And which
Mass Electric,
Mass Electric?
yeah. And it's a 10% discount on whatever part of your bill.
Yeah, right, true, yeah, however much power goes to your barn or whatever.
No, on whether it's production or, you know, the different parts of the bill, yeah.
Classifications, yeah. Okay, yeah, every little bit helps, all
Yeah,
right.
and we get it, we have 2 separate meters and it's on both meters.
Oh.
So it's 10% on each. And then semi-unrelated, since we're on meters, the current rule in Massachusetts on solar is you can only have X number of kilowatt hours per address, not per meter.
Hmm.
So we had looked at getting more solar put onto our property, and I was under the assumption that since we had 2 different meters, we could have 2 different systems created.
Right,
And it still comes down to you can only produce 10 kilowatt hours, or whatever the actual, 10.0 whatever.
Right.
I don't know my
Kilowatts.
kilowatt nomenclature. You know, so our situation is we had put in roughly a 7.8 system, and so I can only add on 2.2 more.
yeah,
Whereas I thought I could put in a whole new system
Huh.
for the other meter.
Interesting.
And from what I understand, there may be some changes coming up, but when I first looked into it, there is an appeals process, which is back to rocket science and legal. And the company that I worked with said, well, you can try to do it yourself, and we can try to help you, we can hire a lawyer to do it. And that particular company, the owner had done one such appeal. And so it wasn't necessarily going to be a simple process to be able to put more onto our particular property, even though we had 2 different meters. Yeah,
Glad we're at the max already.
that was just it. It, you know, when I put it on, it was a case of, this is what I can afford, what can you build?
Right.
Versus the way they usually take your usage and create a system that's 95% of it.
Oh.
That's what they attempt to sell you on. And because you're now aware of your usage, you're going to save 5%. You're going to use 5% less. Yeah, it didn't work that way.
Right.
Let's get more electric things.
Right.
Okay, I don't have anything else. Anybody have anything else?
Motion to adjourn?
Before,
So-
let's look at a calendar and see
Oh,
when we
yes.
should meet. Thursdays work good?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good for Thursday.
September
Got a calendar.
26th.
September.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like a good time.
Sure.
7:00, okay,
Yeah.
everybody? Alright, so we will update September 26th, a Thursday. So we'll, plan on having the next AgCom meeting Thursday, September 26th at 7 PM at the Slade Building.
Okay.
I have to say that out loud, sorry.
So I have a question. Members of the general public can just come and listen to,
They can, meetings are open.
okay, so I have, a young man that wants to start farming and is just interested in coming to a
Absolutely
meeting.
can come,
Okay.
absolutely.
We can fix them.
Or break them.
We, yeah,
Yeah, okay, good.
absolutely, it's always open. I just write down. you
Yeah,
know,
who attends, yeah.
Who attends,
Put their address, that kind of stuff, yes.
that's all, yeah.
Alrighty,
And they
excellent.
can ask questions when it comes up to, unexpected subjects. If he
Okay.
has questions, that would be the appropriate time for that person to start asking questions.
Sure, okay, that sounds good.
To be honest, that's what I did when I lived on the Concord-Acton line before we moved to Hubbardston.
Mhm.
I started going to the Concord Ag Commission and started attending meetings. And a couple of those commission members tried to help me find land to rent in that area.
Oh, that's really nice.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Good, yeah,
I went through that experience myself,
Good.
actually.
alrighty, excellent.
Whether that
Yeah.
upcoming farmer settles in Hubbardston or somewhere else.
Right,
It starts to give them an idea of
Yeah.
various things that exist in the farming world
Mhm.
of Massachusetts,
excellent,
which I didn't know because I had moved from Pennsylvania.
right.
So,
It's
So,
a place
yes.
to start, Acton Concord. I'm sure they have some tough lines in the sand there.
oh no, they're a great committee.
Are they?
Oh, they were wonderful.
I just imagine them being tough. Tough people.
There's a lot of protected land in that area.
Yeah, yeah,
along the
yeah.
rivers.
Yeah.
I just feel like people can be, you know, just,
Yeah, not in my backyard.
The
kind of
farmers
thing.
were
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
The farmers were fine.
that's good.
I will tell you that. The
General public.
were, they're pro-farm,
Mm.
however, like you said, they're tough in that not on my
Yeah.
Right.
bucolic land.
Right.
That was what I ran into.
Yeah.
But other than that, yes, no, the farmers there in Concord are wonderful. Very nice people,
Yeah.
as most farmers are.
That's right, just ask us.
All right,
Down to earth.
so we will be adjourning at,
Do we need a motion?
I mentioned,
Second?
Third.
all in favor,
yeah,
to adjourn at 8:05.